Because of our isolation, New Zealanders have had to become a nation of inventors and innovators. When Henry Rudolph Wigler wanted to take off on Tar Seal, but land his plane on the snowy slopes of the South Island, he devised a world first, the retractable ski thingy.
Wigler's ski plane was an example of something that Kiwis are world renowned for, something called ingenuity.
Long before European New Zealanders established this country's reputation for innovation, Maori had proved themselves great inventors in their own right. Great Maori inventions included elevated food storage, the hangi, respect for one's elders, and Maori time, which is still in use today. Many mistakenly believe Maori time to be nothing more than a lack of punctuality. In fact, it's an advanced mathematical system of complex algorithms that allows Maori to literally create more time. Which proves very useful for these high-powered investment brokers. Pākehā initiatives like daylight savings have since tried to emulate Maori time, but have done little more than annoy farmers. The phenomenon even inspired this animated film strip from the 1930s. We have a proud history of innovation and invention, from high-speed motorcycles made from space-age materials, to irrigation wonders and innovative stepladders.
Yeah, the trap will be baited and the animal will just come along and put it in here and it should come out. Oh, gee. Oh, fuck.
Some say it's our isolation that's led to this incredible facility for such remarkable innovation.
So, would you rate it as one of New Zealand's great inventions?
I wouldn't rate it as a good invention.
One of our most prolific inventors was a man called Willie Sampson, seen here working on his latest creation.
So what is it? Well, it's a number of things. A spa bath, a washing machine, a baby's bath, a massager, a clothes dryer and a hairdryer. How does it work? Simple.
The air is forced through and goes through here, a little electric element, and then it comes down through the elephant's trunk, I call it. I could have nicknamed it the elephant's trunk because I think it is very much like that. It doesn't suck, but it blows. But then again, you see, this is a very, very important part about it because when you switch the motor on and the hot air comes after you've had your starter, you then dry your body with it.
Like all great innovators, Willie was always thinking of his next invention.
It's a complete new car with the motor down right down near the ground. It's an inflated rubber car. You hop inside and you pull a dome over and you can hit one another at 30 mile an hour and bounce off. Now, I'm going to give that to the world for nothing.
Some of our most remarkable innovations were showcased in a national competition, hosted by the verbose Jim Hopkins, who would himself go on to invent the red-rimmed glasses. In a move that shocked many viewers, Hopkins began the program by demonstrating the innovative automatic seaman spoon its makers dubbed the Jizzy 2000.
Let's give it a go. And round we go. And round we go. Have you ever had an unsuccessful grope? I mean for the soap.
Hopkins, who also discovered the triple entendre, presented a show of mostly pointless inventions, including the floating soap.
Every bath should have one.
This is a carry-yacht, a caravan and yacht in one.
The makers of the carry-yacht thought they were onto a winner with this trailerless boat, but for some reason the idea never caught on.
Yachting hasn't been thought of in the aspect of family boating, as much as maybe appealing to people with caravans who want to go out boating as such. They watch people in the water. If they take a small boat, they can only stay a day, whereas we've got the best of both worlds. We can do either, stay in campgrounds or go out boating.
The winner in 1986 was this man, a Dutchman, whose invention was actually useful.
This is one of the problems that Mr. Veldman's invention sets out to solve. How to prune without straining every muscle in the hand. And this is how he does it.
I think I'm not very good at this, and I'd rather stay in my shed and work other things out.
Well, most inventions were the product of obsessive men who spent too much time in the shed. Women have played their part too. Mrs. Bell was a brilliant inventor who made a stunning breakthrough in pegology that threatened to change the wash day forever.
The pegs are left on the line. It stops one handling, if you like. Otherwise, you've got to go to a peg basket and collect them. This way, they're always here. But, of course, its great advantage is the way one can get them off so easily. Shall I show you?
Yes, please.
Vera Lynn's invention was just as brilliant, despite being inspired by a man.
I've always been fed up with my husband leaving the lid up. And I said, one of these days, I'm going to alter that. And it took me till now to do it.
Predictably, many of our best inventions have come from the farm.
Living in a household of men who do heavy manual work and sweat profusely, the clothes just weren't standing up to the washing every day. So, with Brian, I put the sweat pads on the sleeves so that he could use those to mop his brow, and also put zips under the arm for ventilation.
I've developed these gumboots with pouches on the side, and all I have to do is drive the sheep into a corner, stuff its legs in the gumboots.
The blow-up trouser was popular in the high country.
Most farmers will think this is a sissy idea, but once they've tried it, I'm quite sure they wouldn't worry about what people think.
As was this man's cigarette wrangler, made from number 8 wire.
And of course I got a cigarette holder here, you know. Quite a cunning idea, eh?
In fact, number 8 wire has come to symbolise our inventiveness, an almost religious icon of Kiwi can-do.
Have you ever met anyone that could do anything with a piece of number 8 wire? I appreciate it's
symbol, etc. But it's nonsense. It may once have been true, who knows? But come on. Yeah. Oh, it's time we stop this childish stuff. There was something a bit special about it.
Clearly, it's not just Nobel Prize-winning scientists and hard-working geniuses who have made New Zealand synonymous with innovation.
New Zealanders are well renowned for their ingenuity, but it's not always something we can be proud of. We certainly can't be proud of being the inventors of home-bake heroin, a highly addictive...
In the 1970s, New Zealand had a serious drug problem. We couldn't get any. Junkies were forced to go cold turkey. For them, a fate worse than death. But like all good resourceful Kiwis, they were determined to find a solution.
And into the void stepped Bruce Douglas Cameron. The one-time chemist decided to try his hand at making heroin. Using a little Kiwi ingenuity, he pioneered the extraction of morphine from codeine tablets.
It's very easy. You do need a little bit of skill, but if the reagents are clean, it's a very simple process.
Believe it or not, this innocuous-looking powder is one of New Zealand's greatest inventions. It may not have saved time or saved lives, but it did allow ordinary Kiwis to get absolutely twanged on little more than headache pills. Homebake was a kind of surrogate smack, an opportunist opiate. It was poor man's heroin, a codeine cocktail made from cold tablets. Druggies learned that by boiling up codeine-based medicines, they could produce a morphine derivative good enough to lay out a bull.
Whereas a packet of heroin is normally 6 to 12% pure, the equivalent in homebake is 80 to 90%.
This was intravenous innovation par excellence. The invention was so good, it made headlines and led to more bad television recreations than any other news event.
$50, and the rest later. You've been on the nod too long, mate. Come on, give some money.
There you go, Ernie.
Come on, we'll get some more.
Homebake was hot. Even the oldies were getting in on the act.
In this case, an innocent transaction. But some drug purchases by pensioners aren't. They're buying codeine-based drugs or analgesics for homebake manufacturers.
Ironically, the arrangement gave drug-fucked youth a new respect for their elders. Like North Harbour's controversial rugby wall, some of our best inventions have not been machines or devices at all. They've been ideas, often revolutionary ideas, such as our most innovative museum. When John Cleese shat all over Palmerston North, he failed to mention this place, the world-famous Museum. Despite concerns regarding hygiene, the Museum concept has proved so popular there are now museums in 14 countries, with a 15th due to open in the Vatican next year. In the 1990s, parts of the South Island were gripped by the idea that moa still roamed the ranges.
It's this photo of an alleged moa which has captured the imaginations of people around the world for the past week.
The image of the moa was captured by this man, publican Paddy Freeney. Experts pored over Paddy's picture. Many believed it to be a hoax, although the bearded men of Doc weren't quite so sure.
We're not saying it's a hoax, we're just saying that there are too many inconsistencies and it just would not be worth following any further.
Reports of moa sightings sparked excitement among the easily led.
She's really hoping it's a boy. She's always thought she was the only one, and being a female, she gets rather lonesome, of course.
Meanwhile, Paddy Freeney isn't giving up. The moa negatives have been sent north for further independent investigation.
The idea that a handful of moa managed to somehow survive captured the imagination of the country, and soon other sightings followed. But tales of marauding moa were merely made up by enterprising publicans who saw a means for drumming up extra business. In fact, New Zealand has a proud history of ingenious pub promotions, especially down south.
From next week, singlets will be given away to students in this Dunedin pub on their wife-beater Wednesdays. A promotion Women's Refuge calls an insult.
It says it's just a bit of fun, and of course family violence doesn't occur in good humour, and neither should the competition.
Nevertheless, Wife-Beater Wednesday was a hit.
I'll be there with guns blazing.
Doesn't really offend me too much.
That's fine. I don't take offence by it.
But such misogynistic merrymaking was nothing compared to the fallout from a Wellington bar's efforts to add fish to its menu.
Getting your kicks in one of Wellington's fashionable bars these days has a new twist in the tale. Route 66 is offering live goldfish with your tequila, straight up or mixed.
I actually prefer my fish as a pre-dinner drink.
A practice the owners claim began after fish kept disappearing from a bowl on the bar.
Because of consumer demand, we started to bring a few goldfish in and find some interesting ways to serve them.